Hey, let me ask you a question. Are you a solo content creator or a live streamer who is streaming out of a kitchen like this one here? Or simply someone who is hosting rather stale online presentations where you have an ultra wide angle view so people can see what you're doing or interacting with? Well, if that's the case, I have very good news for you, because you'll be able to have interactions or conversations with your audience as we are having it right now. And that's thanks to DJI's new Osmo Mobile 7P. With their new smartphone gimbal, they introduced a new multifunctional module that is in charge, amongst other things, of tracking you. So it doesn't matter what kind of apps you're using to live stream or record yourself with, you will have this level of tracking in all of these apps without the need of any additional software. And the cool thing is, it does not only tracking, it does way more. But let me tell you all about it.
Well, this is it. This is the new multifunctional module that all the fuss is about, and you immediately can see that there's a lot going on with this little piece of tech. In a way for this to work, DJI had to smarten up the new smartphone clamp on the DJI Osmo Mobile 7P. The multifunctional module is connected directly with this interface on the side of the magnetic clamp. Depending in which direction you want to track a person, you can easily switch the orientation so it is either facing forward or backwards. You can also connect the multifunctional module through USB-C with your phone. There are two reasons why you want to do this. First, you can power your phone through the multifunctional module. Second, you can pair the module with the DJI Mic Mini and feed it right into your phone. The multifunctional module has three main features. The first and probably the most important feature is tracking. With the little camera module that is built into the multifunctional module, it is able to track you no matter what app you're using or where you're feeding your video signal into. You can even go so far that you use it in combination with a MacBook and an iPhone, and suddenly you have tracking in collaboration tools like Microsoft Teams and Zoom. I was honestly not expecting the tracking within the multifunctional module to be this good. You can even leave the room and re-enter it. It will just pick you right up and it will continue tracking you as you move along. It also works surprisingly well at a distance. So here you can see me about 4.5–5 meters away, and apparently it can handle distances up to 8 meters. However, I do want to manage expectations, because right now it can only track people, no animals and no objects. And by now I know for sure, because I tried it with an equestrian. At first I was able to lock onto her, unfortunately I was not able to keep that state for too long. And honestly, with the newly released ActiveTrack 7.0, you already get way better results in scenes with complex subjects like these. In my opinion, the second most important feature of the multifunctional module is the ability to be paired with two DJI Mic Mini transmitters. To do so, press and hold the button with the pairing symbol next to it for 2 seconds. Once the two channels on the multifunctional module start to flash, press and hold the pairing button of the two DJI Mic Minis for 2 seconds and they will link up with the receiver. This way, depending on your camera app, you can easily select the DJI Mic Mini as your new audio source. Now just pair the amazing audio quality from the DJI Mic Mini with the tracking capabilities, and boom, you significantly increase the production quality of your content.
Now let's talk about the third important feature, the integrated light. With the help of the side wheel, I can turn it on and off and adjust its settings. And you can see that it is quite surprising that such a small device can pack such a punch when it comes to light output. I can also adjust its color temperature, so I can go all the way from warm to cold depending on the needs of the scene. And if you're filming in such a pitch black environment as I am doing right now, I would maybe recommend you to lower the light output a little bit so you're not casting such a huge shadow behind yourself.
If you prefer, you can also manually turn the light on and off and adjust its brightness and color temperature. For this, simply use the two buttons on the side of the multifunctional module. Now let's also talk about the improvements of the OM7 over the OM6. So on the left we have the traditional OM6 where you have the tripod. So that one needs to be screwed onto the OM6 in order to have a tripod capability. The tripod now in the OM7 is integrated in the grip, which I highly appreciate. This significantly reduces packing space and it just makes it way easier to handle. With the OM6 you first needed to unlock it in order to open it, and then it automatically powered up. The OM7 on the other hand, you only need to unfold, no locking or unlocking, just put your phone on top of it and you're good to go. And on a side note, I do think that the new motors are way more powerful than they are in the OM6, because the motors feel like they don't have as much strain on them when powering on and off. I also prefer the new magnetic clamps over the old ones, because they are not only able to accommodate bigger phones, but thanks to the additional padding, your phone also feels more secure in it. I'm also super stoked about the fact that the OM7 received a massive boost in range of motion. The OM6 was able to do roughly 180 degrees, whereas the OM7 now is able to do a little bit over 300 degrees on the pan axis. So if you now triple tap the trigger, your phone is not switching between the front and the back camera, instead it is rotating so you can use the high quality lenses in order to take selfies. And this is exactly the reason why I was able to create such a high quality shot in the beginning, because this one was filmed with the high quality rear camera. And to make your life easier while working with the rear facing camera, there is now also a Mimo app for the Apple Watch. So you can remote control the OM7 through your Apple Watch. Isn't that crazy? With the Apple Watch camera app, you were always able to remotely trigger the shutter of your iPhone. However, with the Mimo app, you can engage in tracking, you can change the orientation, and of course you can trigger the recording if you want to. With the release of the OM7, we now also get access to ActiveTrack 7.0. Naturally, it comes with a bunch of improvements, but one that I think stands out is the fact that you can have a high-paced, complex scene where you're tracking an object and you can zoom in and out while you're switching between the individual lenses. The object is still being tracked, so that is an impressive task. And this is another reason why the extended pan range comes in handy, cause now the gimbal is doing the heavy lifting and you don't have to run after your subject in order to keep it in frame.
There are various gestures that help you to control the multifunctional module, so let's begin by starting a recording. The indicator will flash yellow, and after that it will automatically start the recording. However, it is not automatically engaging in tracking. In order to do so, just do this. The indicator will turn green and it is tracking you. However, if you don't like the composition, you can do this in order to reframe yourself. Just change wherever you are within the frame. Do this once again. The indicator will turn green and you are being tracked again, and you are also being kept in the same position. If you want to change it again, just do this. Super easy, super fast. However, I have one advice for you. Don't talk too much with your hands, because the moment you do this, you will once again stop the tracking. And also, to stop the recording, you can also do this. So if you're talking too much with your hands, you will maybe accidentally trigger the gestures. So just be careful of that. In the beginning, you also heard me mentioning online meetings. Well, if you're someone who is attending lots and lots of online meetings, you're familiar with this view, right? So you have your Teams or Zoom or you name it, then you have your virtual or real background, and that lovely turkey neck we all cherish, because you have a weird angle where the camera is filming you from below, and that never makes for a good image. So you know, while you're attending a meeting, then you start to slide into a corner and then suddenly everything looks weird. You have to adjust the lid of your laptop in order to reframe yourself, then you change your posture again. I mean, you get the image, right? But did you know that if you're owning an iPhone and a MacBook, you can also use the camera in your iPhone to have a better webcam? So let's see what happens if we're switching over. And you immediately can tell we are getting a significant upgrade in camera quality. But it doesn't stop there, because if I'm doing this, I gesture activated the multifunctional module's tracking. So now if I'm moving in front of the camera, I'm staying dead center of it, no matter whether I'm scooting down or sitting up. No longer do I have to readjust the lid of my laptop in order to be in the center of the frame. So this makes my life way easier, and also your imagery is a little bit more alive and not so stale, as I mentioned in the beginning. But it doesn't stop there, because we can even get rid of that turkey neck I mentioned, because you can bring the camera up to eye level and therefore have a way more pleasant field of view. And thanks to the multifunctional module, I also have the ability to keep the iPhone charged while I'm using it, because I can route through the power. So if I'm having a stationary setup like this one here, I just plug in the power into the OM7P and also plug in the phone into the multifunctional module. So that means if I'm doing a live stream or do have meetings, this way I can make sure that all my devices are powered all the time.
But be careful, cause the OM7 is only charging with 2.5 watts. This means the Osmo Mobile 7P is able to help your phone to maintain its charge, but it won't be able to increase the charge of your phone if your phone is busy with intense work. Alright, DJI's Osmo Mobile 7. So what do we think about it? Honestly, I think that the addition of having some kind of active track outside of the Mimo app is a huge game changer. I know in the past I had so many occasions where I was like, okay, I just wish I had this kind of reliable tracking somewhere in another app where you have just more control over the camera, where you have more possibilities. And with the addition of the multifunctional module, this is huge. And knowing DJI, they will just improve from here. So this is them being at their worst, right? So it will only get better from here. And if you pair this with the high quality that we now reached with the new smartphone generation, I mean, you don't need huge expensive cameras. You don't need massive gimbals. You can start content creating and shelve out massive high quality things by just having a gimbal like this and a highly decent smartphone. But hey, that's just my opinion. So what do you think? Do you see the addition of the multifunctional module as an actual value? Or do you think it's just a gimmick that you won't use after all? Let me know in the comments. With that said, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.